Yesterday, I uploaded a video where I said NASA might do something terrifying involving the Starliner and the International Space Station. There's a lot of clues coming out from news and media, and we all know who controls the news, media, and even NASA. Well, yesterday that video went poof. That video was deleted. Now, I thought about uploading the video to Rumble, but Rumble doesn't really have that outreach like YouTube does. And I am trying to convey a message on this channel to reach out to as many people as possible, so I basically use Rumble as a backup channel for deleted videos. The thing is, it takes a few hours to put these videos together. Do I have the best audio? No, I do not. Matter of fact, my audio has been on the poor side lately because I'm using a different mic. I'm using a Blue Yeti. I do not like the Blue Yeti, but again, I still have to use it till my other microphone comes in. Do I have the best editing? No, I do not. But again, I'm still a one-man team. You all take time out of your day to watch these videos. Out of the countless videos that are on YouTube, you still take time out of your day to click on the video, you make it halfway through, and then you tell me, Minutes of Horror, I was halfway through your video, and it's no longer there. So I feel absolutely horrible that you all make it halfway through the video, it's removed, and it feels like you've wasted your time. Now, I don't know if somebody is mass flagging or mass reporting my videos where YouTube's algorithm is picking up these reports, they don't like it, and they're taking out the videos. They're either deleting them altogether or putting them in a yellow warning section, which means your videos will not be pushed out there. So I do want to apologize for the audio issues lately and these videos being deleted. I am working for a fix for both. But with that being said, I will go ahead and now show the video that was deleted yesterday. I read something rather interesting involving NASA, the space station, the International Space Station, and the Starliner, which is attached to the International Space Station. I have been saying in my last couple of videos, there is something off. There's something rather strange about this whole situation where these two astronauts, Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore, being stuck on the International Space Station, or supposedly anyway. Now, I had theorized in my last two videos, because I'm always theorizing, that these astronauts are not actually on the International Space Station, but they're somewhere on Earth inside the oceans, conducting experiments and so forth. That something was being experimented on, or they were experimenting on something, it gotten out of control, and the astronaut or astronauts were injured in the process or gravely ill, and they had to be rushed to a hospital in Spain. Now, if you do not know what I'm talking about, it all has to do with that emergency audio that was leaked by NASA, where the commander was injured, or like I said, gravely ill. NASA came out and said nothing to worry about. It was only a test, a scenario, but this test was being conducted during the time when these astronauts were supposed to be asleep. Like I said, I did an entire breakdown of this audio in my previous video. The flight surgeon on the audio says she's stuck in traffic. She's an hour away from the astronaut. She's going to see if any other flight surgeons are available that can make it sooner. I had even said in that video, something happened to these astronauts on Earth. We will never see them again. And NASA, they will fake some kind of explosion or disaster that occurred on the International Space Station, or as these astronauts are trying to make their way home, with NASA having issues bringing them back to Earth. Spoiler alert, I do not believe these NASA astronauts ever left Earth to begin with, and I don't think they'll ever be seen again. Now, before we do begin this video, I do want to say that, but I also said that video and this video as well are for entertainment purposes only. Flash forward only a few hours from that video, I made another video where news came out that the Starliner was making some noise. Whether that noise could be taken as banging on the Starliner, a pulsing beating heart, or sonar, or whatever it is, ultimately, NASA said that the Starliner is having some mechanical issues. Now remember, the Starliner is docked to the International Space Station. Do you see where I'm going with this? They have been reminding us multiple times that the Starliner has been facing multiple issues. Most recently, once again, the Starliner making these very bizarre sounds and noise. Also remember, the exact same day those two NASA astronauts were supposed to leave the International Space Station and come back to Earth, that emergency audio leaked where there was something wrong with the commander. And it was around that time they were telling us there was something wrong with the Starliner. We are now getting news articles coming out saying NASA will attempt to launch Boeing's troubled Starliner away from space station as fast as possible, just in case. Reading this article from Yahoo News, it says, later this week, likely on Friday evening, the space agency will attempt to have the faulty spacecraft undocked from the International Space Station autonomously and eventually re-enter the atmosphere. Now listen to this, because this is a rather important part. Continuing to read from the article, it says, and it sounds like NASA will be playing it as safe as possible with the helium leaks affecting Starliner's propulsion system. The agency is looking to get the capsule away from the space station as fast as possible to ensure that it doesn't careen out of control or, in a worst case scenario, hypothesized by experts, even crash into the space station. This is the first time I'm hearing of this theory, but apparently there are articles going all the way back to August 13th of just that. Reading this article again from Yahoo News on August 13th, it's titled, Boeing Starliner could spin out of control and crash into the space station, experts warn. While NASA works on figuring out how to get the Boeing Starliner astronauts home, experts are concerned that it may straight up crash into the International Space Station. As Business Insider notes, there are concerns inside and out the agency that once the plague spacecraft undocks from the International Space Station, malfunctioning thrusters could lead it to spin out of control and ultimately crash into the station. Looking into this further, it looks like a lot of other major news agencies were talking about the Starliner going out of control and crashing into the International Space Station. Reading this article from the Economic Times back on August 15th, it says, Boeing Starliner may crash into the International Space Station after losing control, claims experts. Boeing Starliner spacecraft has a high chance of spinning out of control, with things going out of hand soon, claim experts. These spacecraft could straight up crash into the International Space Station, causing billions in damages and putting the lives of the two astronauts in grave danger. There are even some articles that give the Starliner a 60% chance crashing into the International Space Station, 40% chance of everything going smooth. While this sounds like a crazy and wacky theory that NASA would destroy an entire International Space Station just to cover up something happening to two astronauts down here on Earth, you have to remember that NASA is getting rid of the International Space Station anyway by 2030. NASA has already reached out to Elon Musk for help when it comes to discarding the International Space Station by 2030. Reading this article from Reuters, it says, Musk SpaceX gets $843 million to help discard International Space Station around 2030. Continuing to read from the article, it says, NASA awarded SpaceX $843 million to build a vehicle capable of pushing the International Space Station into Earth's atmosphere for its planned destruction around 2030. Under its new NASA contract, SpaceX will build what the space agency called the United States Deorbit Vehicle to deorbit the space station and avoid risk to populated areas, with NASA taking ownership of the craft and handling the deorbiting operation. Or how about this scenario? Have Boeing become the fall guy, have Boeing take 100% of the blame and responsibility. They're already all up in the news for faulty planes, doors falling off planes, wheels falling off planes, and so forth. So it wouldn't be outside of the realm of possibility that their spacecraft would malfunction and crash directly into the International Space Station. This same space station you're getting rid of anyway. This also gives NASA a get out of jail free card to be able to also cover up what happened to those two astronauts down here on Earth. But this is only if NASA are liars. This is only if NASA was evil. Of course NASA's not evil. Of course NASA would never lie to us, right? This is all such rather interesting timing, and if you line everything up, like I said, with the emergency audio, the fact that these two astronauts were supposed to come home that exact same day, and now we have all these issues with the Starliner, we have these weird sounds and so forth, and now we have news reminding us once again that the Starliner may crash into the International Space Station. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.